With that, the gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Barr, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you all know, on May 20th, Chairman Gruenberg announced that he would resign after the Biden administration nominates and the Senate confirms his new successor. Given the culture and the toxic workplace environment, that's a very swamp-like thing to do. This is why the American people hate Washington, D.C., because it's not a resignation. Resignation should have come months ago, but instead it's not a resignation. And in fact, according to a Wall Street Journal article, Gruenberg himself suggested he's staying because if he leaves, the agency will have 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans. This is supposed to be an independent regulatory agency, not a partisan agency. But Gruenberg is saying the reason he's not resigning is because, oh my gosh, it's no longer going to be a partisan majority. That means he's more concerned about threats to the Biden administration's partisan regulatory agenda than he is about cleaning up the mess he created. Mr. Su, do you believe that you have a responsibility as an FDIC board member to protect the independence and credibility of the FDIC as an institution, not the partisan makeup of the FDIC?
The independence of the FDIC is critical. Just as critical is taking actions to protect the employees of the FDIC.
Yeah, and so resigning now is how you protect the employees of the agency, not after the Biden administration can protect its partisan majority. Let me ask you this, Director McKernan. Have you heard from employees at the FDIC following Chairman Gruenberg's announcement that he would retire later instead of now?
Have I heard from them? Yes.
Yes. And tell me, what have they told you? Are they able to carry out their work without distraction?
I would say the universal view. There's a lot of views about the report, but universally you hear exhausted and distracted.
Are employees able to effectively do their jobs?
I think it's a significant headwind.
In your opinion, how does the failure of Gruenberg to resign today, how does that prevent the FDIC from meeting its responsibilities as an independent federal regulator?
Congressman, as I've said, we need a fresh start sooner rather than later. That's important to establish credibility. It's important to bring in someone that has the moral authority to really push change, and it's important that we have clean hands to sort of deal with our legacy issues.
I'll stick with you, Director McKernan. Last month, the FDIC announced that there are 63 banks at the brink of insolvency in the United States. The commercial real estate office situation is a problem. I don't think it's systemic, but I think the FDIC is going to have a lot of important work to do with distressed banks that are overexposed to commercial real estate in a high interest rate environment over the next several years. Resolution of those institutions is going to be important for the stability of our financial system. In your judgment, is the safety and soundness of our system threatened with this distraction of Chairman Gruenberg hanging on to power? And can he manage these risks that are coming at us like a freight train?
The distraction certainly does not help. That's why I say we need a fresh start.
Well, I think that's really important. That's the important point here. It's important to change the culture and clean up the toxic culture there and get morale and retention of examiners and recruiting of new examiners to do that. But the job at the FDIC over the next couple of years, when we have a wave of defaults in commercial real estate and some of these banks that are overexposed, the FDIC's got a big job ahead of it. And every day that goes on that Gruenberg is there jeopardizes the safety and soundness of our financial system. The FDIC needs to be on the ball right now. And I'll finish with Comptroller Su. On May 15th, when you last appeared with us, appeared with Mr. Gruenberg, Mr. Meeks asked you whether you thought that the chairman could restore trust and credibility at the FDIC. You testified that you thought he could, and then you answered Mr. Heising based on certain conditions. I asked you, given his history of hostile behavior, you passed it off as passion, just passion, but you finally admitted the issues are severe. Recall the independent report that you oversaw with Director McKernan. Is it still your testimony that you believe Chairman Gruenberg can restore trust and credibility at the FDIC?
I believe we need to take action right now with regards to changing the structure of the agency, getting a third-party expert, and hiring an independent monitor.
Yeah, so do you agree or disagree with the findings of the report that you oversaw?
I agree with all the findings of the report.
Okay, well, why shouldn't Gruenberg step down immediately?
My focus is on the action.
Well, your focus should be on the leadership that has caused the problem, and he needs to resign now. I yield.
Gentleman's time has expired. With that gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Foster will be recognized, but I do want to remind my colleagues, I will do this periodically, that under Rule 17, members, the president and the presumptive nominee of both parties for president are protected. Members will refrain from engaging in personalities. In other words, if it's about policy and legislation, it's fine. With that, Mr. Foster, you're recognized.